I made it out of my bunker
Right.
and I'm in a new location.
That's apropos.
Counter to intelligence.
Welcome to Counter to Intelligence. I am Ken the Bunker. With me, as always, is my best friend, faithful like a puppy.
Hey, Tom the Bunker.
Yeah,
Glad to be here for this topic today.
you're like man's best friend.
I am like man's best. I just follow you around and yeah, it's good. And I appreciate the upgrade to the high protein puppy chow. It's been good.
Yeah, well, you deserved it.
Thanks,
So,
man.
yeah, you hadn't made any messes in the house, so I was like, it's time. So, all right. So we're going down this rabbit hole. Hope we don't get like blocked because of who we're talking about.
Right.
I don't know. I think you're allowed to talk about him as long as you're not talking about him positively.
Right. Right. And
Because
who
we're pretty positive he is dead now.
right.
But
Yeah.
when and how and where did he die? That is the question. We're talking about everyone's probably most hated person, unless you are a very evil person,
Right.
Hitler.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
It's
think
crazy.
he comes up on everybody's list as, wow, that guy was you know, if only he had finished art school. That
Right.
was like where everybody goes.
That's
So
the problem. Like they should have just he got denied. Did he get in? I thought he got denied and then he went crazy. But he
yeah,
did.
he did. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
If only he had been allowed to go.
Yeah.
So
There's a lesson in there for the world, like just to
yeah,
let people into art school.
yeah. Let him do it. Let him get that art degree and then
Yeah.
become a teacher.
Yeah. It's a good thing.
That's
Yeah.
whatever. So anyway, what history tells us and what the community wants to say is that Hitler committed suicide in a bunker in 1945 in Germany. First, he offed his wife, Eva Braun, and she was his wife. They did get married. I found out. I always thought it was just his girlfriend, but at near the end, they did actually get married. And then to celebrate, he killed her and himself. So apparently, was not the marrying kind.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Go figure.
so, so that is a historic record. Is that he offed himself in Berlin, but there's been people who said no.
Yeah. They don't
Uh,
believe it.
and here are the one. Here's what I've come with. Like this. Do you want me to go through all the conspiracies and
Let's go
then
through it. At least the
okay?
main one, right, is that he faked his
Well,
death, right?
well, all of them he faked his death,
Oh, all right.
but where he ended up is where the conspiracies go, and then later died. So the first one, and this is probably the most popular, and there is even a TV show, uh, was Hitler escaped to Argentina on a Patagonian, retirement plan. And according to the series, Adolf packed up his bags, dyed his mustache or shaved it, and maybe grew it out, made it look better, and took a U-boat to Argentina, and that's where he made his way. Most of these series all say yes, he did kill Eva, and then went, or is it Ava or Eva? Ava Braun or
Even, I guess.
It's EVA. So is that Ava? I guess
Ava,
Ava.
right?
Yeah, it's Ava Braun. So he kills her and leaves. In all the theories, she doesn't go with him, as far as I can tell. Now, the things that support this was that there was a network of Nazi sympathizers throughout South America. Ava Peron was one of them, as well as her husband, and Argentina should not cry for her. But alleged also was that he was sighted in Argentina in 1960s, and that he lived in a secluded compound in the Patagonia, and that's where he lived. Some of the sources are like Grey Wolf, The Escape of Adolf Hitler by this guy named Simon Dunstan. And there were allegedly FBI files showing that they investigated into this. So they were like, this was kind of believable. And the reason it was so believable was all the other Nazis that they found in Argentina.
Right.
And they were not low-ranking dudes. It wasn't like some guy that just swept, the
Right.
floors in Germany. We have another Adolf Eichmann, who was known as the architect of the Holocaust. Uh, he, basically was a guy who was like, "Hey, I have a great idea," and they went with it. He was found in Argentina. He was under the name Ricardo Clemente or Clement in Buenos Aires, and he worked for the Mercedes-Benz factory there, which I'm sure Mercedes does not want you to remember.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, and he had a new wife and kids and a social life. And in 1960, he was captured by the Mossad and smuggled back to Israel, where he was then tried and executed in 1962. And there's a great movie about this whole episode starring Oscar Isaac and Ben Kingsley as Adolf Eichmann. And I don't remember the name of it, but it's a great movie because like seeing how they captured this guy was pretty good, pretty nuts. Another great guy that you probably have heard of is Joseph Mengele, who's also known as the Angel of Death, who did all these insane experiments on the prisoners in Auschwitz, some of which led us to, what MK Ultra did. We just talked about, like some of his experience. Also, little thing that people don't want, maybe I shouldn't mention this, a lot of his experiments are what led to abortions and how people perform abortions today were given to us by Joseph Mengele. Wow. So whether or not you're pro-life, pro-choice, just know the guy that helped you figure out how to do an abortion was Joseph Mengele. Thank you, sir.
I did not know that.
Some of his techniques were used because, they would, I don't need to get into it, but they impregnated prisoners just to kill the babies. Just to try these things. See, does this work? But Joseph was found, but he died of a stroke in 1979 while swimming in Brazil. He was never caught, but basically he was in Argentina. They found him. He's escaped to somewhere else. Perón, Eva Perón helped get him out of there, and he made his way to Paraguay and then finally Brazil, and that's where he died of a stroke. Another guy was Eric Prebick. This guy was known as a butcher of the Argentine caves. He oversaw the execution of 335 Italian civilians. And he lived in Argentina under the name of Carlos de Borrachi. And he actually gave interviews in the 1990s, and he was extradited to Italy in 1995, and he was placed under house arrest. He lived until 2013 under house arrest in Italy, which I guess if you're going to be under house arrest, might as well be Italy.
It should be Italy. A good climate for them. Yeah.
Another guy was Eduardo Rochman. Again, he escaped in Argentina. He died in Paraguay in 1977 after fleeing again when Nazi hunters came after him. But he was in charge of responsible for mass executions of Jews. Then you had Walter Rolf. He was this guy. He was an inventor of the mobile gas vans that they used to come into neighborhoods and say, "Hey, come on, go for a ride."
Oh, wow.
And they're now known like guy who then went on to use it was that one doctor who was helping people do assisted suicides. What's his name? Yeah. So he had a very similar vehicle.
Wow.
So he got his ideas from Walter there. He was in Argentina. He worked as a military advisor to Argentina, and he died peacefully in Chile in 1984. So again, not caught. Another guy was Klaus Barbie, not to be confused with the Barbie doll. He was a Gestapo police officer. He lived in Bolivia, but he got there via Argentina, and he was extradited to France in 1980 and convicted and died in prison in 1991, the year I graduated, so from high school. So all those guys were high-ranking guys.
Yeah.
And made it to Argentina and other places thanks to the Perón and all those people. So that does give like some credibility that
Right, that
maybe
they did do it. I mean, those are proven
yeah.
facts, like they were there.
And now I will say, like, if you watch, there was a show, I think it was called Hunting Hitler or something, but he had an illness. I can't remember what, maybe it was Parkinson's, but he had to take certain kinds of medication. And when they were like trying to find him, obviously not find him, but try and figure out where he may have gone, when they did get to that Patagonian base that they think he lived at, they found vials of the medication he was supposed to be taking. And there was a lot that were used, but then there was some that weren't used. And
Okay.
they estimated that if he had been there, the amount that they had found of used bottles versus unused, that he lived possibly till the early 60s.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
because they found a stash of complete, and like, well, he had to take X amount, and they did the math, and like, well,
Right.
whoever was using this used it up until, like, if he got here in 1945, they used it till like I think 1961 or something.
Oh, good.
And so that was their findings. The next place that Hitler might have gone to is everyone's favorite frozen continent, Antarctica.
Wow. That sounds
So
like it's terrible.
yeah. So this idea was he escaped again via submarine, via Argentina, and then made his way to a secret base in Antarctica. Now,
Huh. Who built the base?
yeah, well, the Nazis did. According to the
Oh,
series, Hitler was smuggled to a secret Nazi base under the ice in Antarctica known as Base 211. And they do this because they're in paperwork. There's this thing that it's listed. There's a Base 211. No one knew exactly where it was, but the Operation Highjump was a real U.S. Navy expedition in 1946, and it attempted to wipe out Nazi holdouts in Antarctica. Now, they claim they didn't find it. That's why it was a failed attempt. But they were going there because they did believe that the Nazis were trying to go there. Also, they said this area was a place where they tested the Nazi UFO technology, which there's a video of them with stuff that looked like saucers. And people have reported strange anomalies in Antarctica after World War II. And so that is the idea. He went there. So
wow.
next up, we got
He's
another.
all over the place. He's
Yeah,
everywhere.
well, he has so many places to hide.
Right.
And the next one is Hitler escaped to the moon base. And
Sorry. What? Moon
this
base.
is the French theory that they had technology, that they had gone to the moon. And in the interest of the Nazis, they had advanced aircraft and UFO technology. They're doing the saucers and rocket technology. And he got up there and and the UFOs we are seeing and stuff are all Nazi technology.
Oh my God.
And that's where he went.
We could combine that with the people that don't believe we could get to the moon. I mean, this
Yeah,
is,
it's
yeah, what do you
crazy.
make of this?
Like, who we can't, but the Nazis did.
You're right.
But now also what people cite is that when America did get to the moon, if you believe we got to the moon, they were all Nazi scientists that got us there.
Right.
And I mean, I know you can like say, well, you had those ladies who did the math, but like it was the rockets were built by the Nazis, and they, it was, so on both sides, Russian and
Right, right,
American,
right.
it
They're the
was
ones that have the
Nazi
tech.
scientists all
Yeah.
over that place.
Yeah.
So the next was that it was a huge Soviet cover up. And that this is that the Soviets found Hitler alive and either executed him secretly or kept him hidden for intelligence purposes. So they're saying the Soviets took him and he didn't kill himself. Stalin publicly claimed in 1945 that Hitler had escaped. He said that. The Soviet Union was secretive about Hitler's remains. Like, they're the ones who got there first, had their remains, held them for a long time. When they did release some bone fragments of a skull,
Yeah.
those were tested and came back to be female.
Oh,
And
okay.
they said that was a female skull. So everyone believes that was Eva Braun's head.
Okay.
So another was that Hitler escaped to Spain. this is another theory. Basically, he fled to Spain because Spain was like pretty much sympathized with Hitler.
Right.
And they were friends, and basically, a lot of the way all the Nazis who ended up in Argentina made their way to Spain to get to Argentina. They're saying that he just stayed in Spain because he had friends, and just shaved his mustache and cut his hair different and just blended in. And but that's one of the theories. The last great big theory, this one's kind of fun, that Hitler was a British agent and a body double died. It was a body double.
I didn't. I think I found that one online. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So this one says Hitler was part of a deeper Allied conspiracy, and that he was actually had turned and was giving them info, and that the body double was the one who was killed. Basically, yeah, that, but like a lot of presidents or whatever of other countries have a body double that show up. Like Saddam Hussein had multiple body doubles who went to different events that he didn't want to go to, or they were worried someone might try and kill him. So they sent like Brian out and said, "Hey, go stand around. You might get shot, maybe." Right. And again, they go with the inconsistencies of the remains,
right?
Which they're like, well, and that basically but that one to me is weird, because why would Hitler turn on himself and give those kind of things?
Makes sense. Yeah.
Now for me, I tend to believe maybe he went to Argentina, and part of it is like people like Hitler who are egomaniacal people.
Right.
Suicide is very rarely the way they go, like, because they think they don't think they're going to lose. Right. And even if they lose, they get out. They won't kill themselves because they think they could come back.
Right. They think it's somebody else's fault. They can come back. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I tend to think, I don't see that he would kill himself. I could see maybe like, because some of his men tried to turn on him multiple times.
Right.
And they blew up, tried to blow him up. So I could believe maybe some guards may have turned and killed him. But I don't think he shot himself. I don't think his mind was that way. Like, to me, it makes, like, when I hear about, like, anytime I hear someone that's like that has a narcissistic mindset, I just don't see them doing that. And we've had some recently, that supposedly killed themselves in jail. And like, that dude was such a narcissist. I don't think he thought he was ever going to lose. And I think
true about narcissists.
I think Hitler's the same way. I don't think he thought he was going to, even at that time, he was thinking, I'm going to get out of it, and we're going to come back and be, Third Reich, Fourth Reich, whatever, Fifth Reich. We're going to do it,
Right.
But yeah. So what are your thoughts?
Well, so a guy wrote this book. There's this guy, Richard Evans, who wrote a book called The Hitler Conspiracies. It was published in 2020. And he's a pretty well-known historian in this area. And I have to admit, I haven't read it. I didn't get a chance to order it and read it before the show. But basically, he's taking on I guess there's 5 like conspiracies. I think you mentioned them involving Hitler. And
I mentioned 6. So
I'm 6. You're way.
So I mean, he probably discounted like the moon one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, probably. He probably didn't do that one.
And if he did, his book's garbage.
Yeah. I
think
he won awards, but so I feel like there's some scholarship, maybe the other direction, right? That says, it's actually probably not so much. I mean, they had some pretty good folks review the book and think he was onto something, that maybe it just happened the way it's been told to us.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Yeah, so it's called The Hitler Conspiracies, the Third Reich, and the Paranoid Imagination. So I don't know. I didn't get a chance to read it, but basically the conclusion of the book is, this guy who's a historian, that the claims that he escaped or whatever didn't really happen. So I don't know. It's I'm not a historical expert, but I guess, do we need positive proof? I guess that's the question, right? Positive proof or suspicion? What'll do it?
Now I did do some, and they said that there were some teeth or a jawbone or something at some point that the, like, again, I'm trying to figure this out. Like, the French got a hold of, and they compared it to some dental records and said,
Right.
yeah, it's Hitler. But it wasn't
Right.
the full jawbone, it was
Right.
partial.
It's partial. And his
And then
dentist was part of it. Like they found his dentist bones with
yeah,
it. Something.
but I mean, the dentist obviously was a Hitler enthusiast.
Right. Right.
Would he lie and say, yeah, that's my boy,
Yeah.
and help, like who helped them decide, oh yeah, that's really his. And
Right.
who, as a dentist, did he do work on other people to get their jaw or teeth? Like, did he have body doubles that they made it look like, knowing what was coming?
Right.
And that, I mean, there were like his followers were very loyal to a weirdness.
Yeah, it is true. Yeah.
So I mean, again, like the only one to me that makes any sense, and I do fall in that. I do think he got out, and I think he went to Argentina because of, like, if you look at, like, Spain was big into his best, like a really good buddy. They never attacked Spain. They were friends.
Right.
And he got out through that, and that's my theory. My theory is he got to Spain to Argentina. The Perones, even though they had a beautiful musical, were not good people, and so they got him into Argentina, and he just finished out his life. I think he died, and from Parkinson's or whatever it was he had.
Oh, well.
In
So
the
but do we have his body somewhere? That's the question. Like
that's the question. Like, and the other thing is, like my thing is, like, the first bones that they gave,
right.
and here's the thing that I find interesting. So they gave them bones, and where was the skin? And it's like somebody made sure that it was just bones we had, and it's like,
Right.
you should have had a body that you could have taken photos
Right.
of.
Right.
And where, like, nobody took a picture of the dead people in the bunker.
That's true. That's true. I've never seen one.
Yeah, no, I couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
Like you would think that we have so many photos from World War II, like of the Holocaust camp survivors and the camps, of liberating Germany. We see photos of liberating Berlin. We
Right.
see all this. There are photos of the bunker, but nothing with a body in it.
Right.
And then suddenly we have just bones to look at and be
Right.
like, oh, okay, well, this is a female. And it couldn't even be identified that it was Ava's body, Adolf Hitler,
Right.
Ava and Adolf,
Ava.
Ava Hitler's body. I'm going to
Yeah.
give her last name Hitler. I think she was known as something else, but she did marry the guy. I'm
Yeah.
assuming she took his name. Maybe he took hers. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
Maybe he was more progressive.
Yeah.
The liberals will hate.
Braun.
Yeah, Ava Braun. Yeah. Liberals will hate that I just said that
It's going to be wrong.
progressive, and
The comments will be on fire. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to offend them. I'm not trying to offend anybody.
But we got to get to the bottom of this. So this is tough.
Yeah.
Tough case. I mean, I most historians think it is the way we've been told. So I don't know.
Well, of course, because like if you change it, it messes up everything. They've been teaching it for like something to. Now, interesting, like the CIA actually searched for him.
Yeah.
Because it was so believable that maybe he had gotten away.
Yeah.
That they were like, hey, we should look into this.
Right.
And it became unconclusive. I think it was unconclusive. I can't remember what they found.
Yeah, they couldn't find him. From what I saw online, they never found any conclusive proof that he had escaped, is what I understand. But of course they didn't find, anything else either. But but they couldn't find any proof of it. Yeah,
I mean, but
it wasn't just the CIA, it was the military, I think, as well, right? Because I understood that some of this whole idea may have been Soviet propaganda, I think, is one of the things I read online. So the theory was they wanted that idea out there in our heads.
Oh, that Hitler was still alive?
Yeah, they were still alive, yeah.
Well, why? Why would they want that out there?
I don't understand that part of it, but I guess they weren't super friendly with us either. So
yeah, they weren't. Yeah, but like I don't know how that helps anything or helps them. I don't know.
Yeah,
like it's weird.
Yeah, but apparently that was where some on the internet historians think that it originated. Was that they had an interest, so they started the rumor. Maybe to prolong the conflict. I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do know that they're the ones who found the body first,
right?
And they got there first, and then they messed up everything, and then they gave out the female skull, and then it went from there.
Yeah.
Like, and then, but yeah, so I don't know. I just find it very odd. Interest. The whole thing is weird. Again, like why we had bones and not a full body and just
Yeah.
parts of bones. It's like
I would think
they
someone
would
get a
they
picture. I do agree with that. Like, wouldn't you recognize it's a historical moment and take a picture for the newspaper or something?
yeah to prove and again, like I said, they shot them. According to the theories, they shot themselves, or he
Right.
shot himself, and he shot her,
Right.
and then himself. But then why is it bone pieces and not a full, it's like they didn't blow up.
Right.
It wasn't
Yeah.
an explosion. Like
Right.
that would make sense. Okay, yeah, there's an explosion. We only have partial, and then but it's like, okay, he shot himself. You should have a whole body. Now I know there was one story that they burned the bodies, but why would you do that?
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
like
I didn't understand the burning thing either. Yeah.
yeah, like this one, unless like you said, it was the Soviets trying like, well, let's burn it, and then we'll say, hey, he's still alive, or
Right.
and let's give him the girls' stuff, and whatever. I mean, but I like again, I don't understand how that helps the Soviets. Like I don't.
Right.
It doesn't. That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah. The whole thing doesn't make sense. But that's what
No.
our listeners are here for, to get our perspective, and they can make sense of it for us and post in the
Yeah.
comments. I think that's what's going to happen.
And I find it like I mean I watched that whole series where they were hunting. I think Kennedy or something,
Right.
that one former Navy SEAL guy, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
He was on that show, and he he seemed to be skeptic at the beginning of the series, and the more it went on, and it'd be interesting to find out where he what he thinks now, because I remember at the beginning of the show he seemed to be kind of like he was there as an advisor, as a military advisor going in, what would they do, and he didn't really seem to think Hitler escaped. And by the end of the series, he seemed to be more like it's kind of like he was kind of turned like not he didn't straight up say, oh yeah, he did, but he was kind of like, well, there's a possibility. Like after the stuff he saw, I think the turning point for him was when they went into that house in Patagonia, and
Right.
they found the medication that they knew he took. It was like a well-known fact. He took it, and it was stockpiles of this medicine. And at first he was like, well, yeah, they're planning for him to come. Yeah, maybe they did stockpile. But then they went into another room, and there was all this medicine that had been used. And like,
Huh.
though there was some that obviously it had all been expired, but it was in these boxes unused. And then there was a big area where there were used vials, and he had to take it intravenously. He had to get it through a shot. So it
Right.
was like these empty bottles, and the other had full bottles. And so then he was like, well, that's weird. Like, why? Who was using it? This, and it was a lot that had been used.
Right.
So,
So somebody
and
was there. Yeah.
yeah, and I think they even like there's a town, and to this day, I mean, it's very German. Like when you go in the Patagonia area,
Right.
and I think there was actually a woman there who had photos of her grandfather, maybe, or whatever, and he was, and there's pictures, and the guy that he was with looked like Adolf Hitler without a mustache.
Oh my gosh.
And they're at first looking at the photos, and they asked when, like, because the town looks German, like
Right.
everything in it, and they're in the mountains, and it looks like
Yeah.
Germany, and they wanted to know where it was taken, because they're like, well, maybe that is Hitler without a mustache, but like, yeah, I always thought he had a mustache, but they're trying to figure out where was this, and she showed them, and it was in that town. They could like
Yeah.
see, okay, it was in this square. We can see this mountain, and
Right.
she remembered him as there was another name, and that he took on, and it wasn't like Adolf. It was like, I don't know what his name was that they said he used, but it was, but it was like the last name was like Heisler or Heisler or something, like really close.
Very.
And she kind of remembered it, but kind of remembered him. And she said he always like creeped her out. And
That's
so,
funny.
but yeah.
Yeah.
So I fawn, yes, he was there.
I'm going to go with the historical consensus and say no. And I guess we're going to have to let the listeners decide. I don't know. It's a tough one.
I'm walking away.
Oh, no. It's all over.
Yeah, because you said, no, I'm getting water.
Okay. Well, behind that door, if he comes out, we'll know. Like, if you're keeping him.
So I guess we've done it. Like,
I
you're
think we've
wrong,
done it.
I'm
This is a
right.
good one. I mean, obviously, I'm right, you're wrong, but that's all right. We won't fight about it. I'm gonna have to dig up more proof. I think that's what I'm gonna have to do.
Yeah, I think you need to go find the body.
Yeah. I need something to do this weekend. So
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Patagonia and I'll find the body.
can you get some clothes? I hear their clothes are pretty good too. So
Oh yeah, they have a whole line.
yeah, that's good. I don't know if I can buy that for this episode though, but nothing against Patagonia. Just kidding. Just kidding. We all love that store.
Yeah, they were created by nice Patagonian people.
That's right.
That may have helped it. But did you hear that?
I barely. I heard.
Oh, we'll keep it that way.
Yeah, we'll edit that out. We'll see.
Now I don't know why.
What do you think?
Hitler's trying to stop me.
He probably is. He's in the back. What do you think? What do you think we should do for like another episode? I had a wild one that I looked up.
Let's hear it.
So, but it's a little bit like things we've done before. So I don't know. There's a thing called the Billywhack monster that apparently lives in California.
The Billy Whack. Wait, this might be up my alley. You know me.
Yeah.
Billy Whack.
Yeah, Billi, and then whack spelled normally Whack.
Bill Whack monster.
Yeah, also known as Chivo Man, I guess that's how you say it. And apparently there's a bunch of videos about it. So
The Bill Whack monster.
yeah.
And kind of looks like got horns and stuff.
Yeah, I've seen different pictures of it. I don't know.
All right, I'll do that. We'll go down this because
Yeah,
you know me.
I
like a good monster story.
Yeah, I thought
if we're gonna go down monsters, I got plenty we can look. I got one. You know what? Let's do a monster week. Let's do
Monster Week. Oh, this will be great.
no. I'm saying we'll do Bill Whack monster, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw out another monster. Next week for the following week because there's two. Because this is one that I think deserves our attention. And I've done it on another podcast, but I want to hear your thoughts on it because it's another really bizarre case. It took place a long time ago in the early 1900s, but it's a bizarre, and this town got terrified. But I won't give it away. Yeah,
okay.
But we'll do the Bill Whack monster, and the following week another monster. We're gonna go to and figure out what it was that they saw and heard. And I haven't heard about the Bill Whack monster.
Yeah, it was new to me too. So I was like, oh, this will be good. We got to cover the full range. We've done Bigfoot, right? So we'll do a little lesser known, monster. Kind of got an audition and got a minor part, I guess.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
So there we have it. We're going to do Bill Whack monster next week. And the following week, we'll do another monster. We'll announce that after next week.
Mystery monster. You have to tune in to this episode to get revealed what the monster is going to be. Or maybe we won't even reveal it then. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we may never reveal it.
Yeah.
And we may change our minds and be like, we're not done with it.
Exactly.
Is the Bill Whack monster actually Adolf Hitler? I don't know.
Ooh.
Tune in next week to find out.
That's right. That's Tom and Ken, your Counter to Intelligence hosts.
Yeah, same conspiracy time, same conspiracy channel.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's like Batman. So there we go. I guess that's the end. So thanks for listening, everybody, and come back.
All right.
Find out where I'll be next time.
Exactly. Oh, different room of the house every week.
I know, probably Patagonia. I hear they sympathize with people and make great clothes.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, see you later.
See ya.